Good morning and welcome to Rise and Grind 24/7. You have reached your motivation cast for this Tuesday, May 28th, 2019. I'm Herb Bailey. I'm in South Carolina where it's getting to be 105 today. And this is
Hey, everybody. I'm in the hubbub of New York here now. I'm in Long Island. I have friends visiting from out of town. We were actually upstate for a couple days. Then we hit the beaches, and then we're back here home. And got home very early this morning. We tried to beat the traffic both ways. So we left like Thursday night and then came back, this morning. And yeah, I'm a little beat up. I'm a little tired, but you know what?
a
Life
good
is
tire.
complain. Yes. Can't complain.
And her name is Jenna Marie Stone. For those who have
Oh, yes. If you already don't know, my name is Jenna Marie Stone, and I am here in New York. And I keep getting compliments on this weather. We have had steady 80, 85, 78 weather, dry heat. You think you're in Arizona, but like I can't tell you. It's been amazing. When it rains at night when we're sleeping. So the flowers are getting watered, and yes, so a lot of people got burned. I got a little bit of, I put like 40 protection on me. I have an all natural skin, what do you call it? It's a bug repellent that I use, and I use sunscreen, and all from the shopping club. And I tell you, it smells beautiful. And when I took a shower, it wasn't sticky,
Yeah.
and so cheap. I mean, I saved so much money because when you go to CVS or whatnot, you're paying for those middlemen. But yeah, so other than that, yeah. So I was thinking yesterday. I was talking with my husband. I said, you know what? Not for nothing, but people think it's a serious show. But people that know us, meaning me and Herb here, we are total goofballs. I mean, we could really do our own comedy show, but
we could have a comedy show, no doubt about it.
and I don't know how long you're with your beautiful Lynn, but I've been with my husband since 1994, and we can't get any more opposite than myself and my husband. We grew up together. If you really think about it, we really, over 20 plus years, 24 years. I mean, I can't even count anymore. It's been after 20 years, you just stop counting.
Yeah.
And people always ask, they're like, what is the secret? Like, how do you guys, how have you made it so long? And I say, we are opposites. And I think the reason why we work, meaning my co-host, I'm doing it right, I'm going to do it both ways. My co-host and I, we're opposite. So we're total opposites. But I love that because here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't be afraid to hang out with people that are a little different than you. They're a little...
I've been called different.
No, but I mean, don't be afraid because here's what it is. When you hang out with the same kind of people, same type, you have the same interests, you learn nothing from them, right? Because who the hell wants to have a yes man all around or a yes woman that, you want a little bit of a conflict, right? Just a little bit.
Sure.
And I want to encourage couples out there that are going through some struggles with those little messes. Don't get so afraid and call it quits and say, I can't deal with this. I mean, listen, if somebody's doing drugs, if somebody has an alcoholic problem, somebody's abusing you, I mean, those are real, real life problems. But I'm talking about personality. Anybody you meet, and I'm gonna veer over to my co-host and he'll give his male version, but anybody that you meet has quirks and perks. Nobody is perfect.
No.
Guess what? You're not perfect.
Exactly.
Sometimes when you're too busy picking out somebody else's faults, maybe you should look in the mirror and see if it's something inside you that you're picking at and you're just bringing it to the surface with the other person. Because ever hear that expression, look who's calling the kettle black, right? That's an old, I guess that expression came from what? The 1800s, because I've heard it forever, right? But you ever anyone ever get somebody call you something and you're just like, really? Okay. And then you note it, and then you turn around and then you realize that, wow, they are really calling me that, and I see that in them. But most of the times when we're judging someone, it's something that we see in ourselves, right?
Well,
So
very true. Very true. Very true. We do, if I see something in somebody and it kind of bugs me, I'll do a self-examination and like, am I like that? It's like, because, no one's perfect. No one is perfect. For, for example, I thought about this for our show today. I don't know if I'm going to rear off to something. Were you planning on going somewhere?
no, I actually wanted to just open it up with like a couples thing because I was
Oh, okay.
thinking of it. A lot of people keep messaging like, "How long are you with Dean?" And I'm like, too long." No, but I get around because we're like that. We always like not make fun of each other, but we always have that banter
Mhm.
going. And then
Yeah.
when you and I connected as friends, you know, I saw a lot of similarity, I guess, with my Dean. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do a talk show, I'd rather do it with someone that I can bounce off. And you
Oh
know,
yeah, you can bounce. You can
and,
bounce off.
and my husband can dish it as much as he can take it. Trust me. But I
That's it. That's it. You got to have somebody that can take it and bring it back.
And
And
online, there's a lot of couples that are, doing like businesses together and they're doing talk shows together. And I wanted us to be a little bit different because number one, you're in South Carolina, I'm in New York. We have different ideas, and I think it's cool that people can bounce off. That was what I was really going at,
okay,
meaning
okay,
similarities between the couples,
sure, sure.
meaning male versus female. But I wanted to get your perspective, like when you and Lynn, like even have a tiff or anything like that, like how do you resolve it? Because there's a lot of people out there that need relationship
Oh,
goals AF,
I
as they
think
call it.
I think Glenn and I, be, before we got together, we were both married for a lot of years,
There you go.
and so now in this relationship, it's more of, okay, I understand now. I've been through a lot of stuff. Uh, you know, if we have like a disagreement, it's a very short disagreement.
Mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
don't we don't we don't make it,
You don't let
pile
it
up, make
escalate.
it
You don't
a
let it
huge
escalate.
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And you look, because you live and learn. And so, and here's a sign of true love. Here's a sign of true love. I don't want to argue.
Mm,
I feel bad if we do.
mm,
And they're going to happen. I mean, don't I don't have blinders on. They're going to happen, but you don't make it. You don't escalate it. You don't.
mm.
It's like, because you don't want it to happen. It's you're in a relationship for a reason, and so that's my
No,
opinion.
you don't look for the confrontation, but
Yeah.
if it's there, you can't just sweep it under the rug. Like
No,
I that happened too.
you come to a conclusion fast, though. I think
Mhm.
faster than when you were younger.
I was gonna
And
say you both got married pretty young, right?
I was 22.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I
I
think
met
she
my
was
husband at
too.
20.
I think she was too.
I met my husband
So
at 24,
yeah,
but we didn't get serious till 25, and then we got married. But everybody's 20s is different. You could be more,
oh yes, oh
you could be more mature and less mature. I know a lot of couples that got together at 16 and are still together. I know couples that got together at 40 and are now apart.
yeah.
So
Maturity is a
everybody's
big thing. Yeah,
maturity is absolutely. And sometimes, when you're younger, I think, and if you're with the wrong person, you tend to fly off the handle a lot faster, right?
oh yeah,
So
oh
what
yeah.
you said was really, really important. The maturity is that if you see an argument happening, you can't avoid an argument, right, guys? I mean,
It
it's
can't.
going to
It's
happen,
gonna
right?
happen. It's gonna
But
happen.
you tackle it, and like some people like to tackle it right away, and other people like to give people some space, right? But I try to find humor in everything. Like if I see that I really pissed off someone, whether it's a friend, my husband, whatever, and vice versa, I try to take a step back, and I'm like Curb. I won't let it escalate, but we're all human. And listen, sometimes just people annoy you, even the ones that you love.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
even true love, people are gonna annoy you, and you
Yeah.
have to be able to weather it. But on the motivational factor, you grow from it, because if somebody upset you and you really care, you want to figure out how to get over this pretty quickly
Hmm.
and move on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because you said, you both were in, I guess, long marriages that were not fulfilling, now you know what to expect and what you want. But if, let's just say, and I'm going to put this out there, anybody's been stuck in a relationship and you're just miserable. You're just, whatever you do, you're always wrong. The other
Mm.
person is always looking to bother you, and you're living in a small, like, we have 4 levels here. Some people live in one room. Like, if I was in one room with my husband, I think we'd kill each other. No, to be honest with you, I just
You
feel
do
like
need space. Even in the greatest relationship, you need space.
yes, yes,
And you need to be yourself. That's a key too. You need to be yourself, because if somebody is not allowing you to be yourself, you are
yep.
going to be so miserable.
And
And
that's so true. That's so true. And you're probably a little different than Lynn, or Lynn's a little different than you. I
oh
don't think
yeah, we're not the
that
same.
the same.
Exactly. We do
Right.
like the same things, but we're not the same.
Right. And one thing that I realize is that, like what you just said too is, be yourself, guys. If you're trying to morph into somebody you're not, it's going to go against your grain, and it's going to make you miserable, right? So make sure that the person that you're with enhances you and brings out the best.
Yeah.
If that person's bringing out the worst, like, you look at that person, and look, when you first fall in love, like, that person can do no wrong, right? Everything is wonderful, and then what happens is it starts taking another dimension, and all of a sudden things start to irk you. And here's what I'm going to say is, with women, communication is critical. With men, a lot of times they just hold things inside.
Oh, we
So
do. We're holders. We're
yeah,
holders.
and if you see somebody who's
Yeah.
really holding a lot back, and that person should have gotten pissed off with what you just did, take some consideration, because men are not as communicative as women.
No.
They blow up. They tend to flare up when they've had enough. And sometimes
We come
that
to
is
that boiling point. Oh yeah, the boiling point on a stove or something like that, or like steam on a tea kettle.
there you go.
You'll hear it rumble, and you'll hear it rumble, and it's come to a point where you're going to see that steam, because you've had enough. And men are
And
like, we're
yeah,
like that. How we're driven.
men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? That's an old book, but it still rings true. And another thing that I find, that even with my female friends, they tend to remember everything. Men don't. Men dismiss things.
Unless
So
it's
you gotta
sports.
understand
Unless
something.
it's sports, then I remember everything.
It's like,
But
oh, really? You remember every little argument, every
no,
little
no,
thing?
unless it's
Oh,
sport.
oh, sport. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to relationship goals, guys, you guys dismiss things easily, because you don't want to think about it. You don't want to talk about it anymore. You don't want to revisit it. It's done. You apologize. She apologized. It's dead. It's squashed. It's bare. Women store things
Oh
and
yeah, your stores,
use
your
them,
squirrels, your
and then just
squirrels, your
kind of
store
like
things.
use them as daggers. So don't do that. So
Yeah.
that takes a lot of self-control. So in other words, if you're arguing with someone, let it go. Like Frozen, let it
Oh yeah.
go,
Oh
let
yeah.
it go. Just stop rehashing things. If you had a disagreement with a coworker, a spouse, a significant other, and you've already dissolved it, don't bring it up at a later time. It's stupid, because here's what it is. If you keep focusing on your problems, you're just going to get more problems. But if you focus on solutions, you're going to find that the solutions are at every corner. So just really take a step back and think, is this problem that we're having right now really going to matter a year from now? And if you can honestly ask yourself that question, then go ahead, keep battling it out. Because sometimes, here's what it is. You may have lost the battle, but you won the war when you are the bigger person.
Yeah. True. Well said. Well
I hope
said.
that helps somebody out there. I
Yeah.
just felt like somebody needed to hear a relationship episode, because,
Yeah.
I don't want to just make fun of us all the time. But, when you have a relationship with someone, just cherish it, and stop worrying about where you stand with that person. That's another.
You shouldn't have to worry about that. You
Yeah.
should not have to worry about that where you stand, because if it's a true relationship, you'll know, and
You'll feel it, right?
and
You'll
you'll be
feel it.
shown, and you'll be shown.
Now,
And
here's the magic question: did you ever go to bed angry?
of course, I think everybody,
You
you
never.
know.
So you don't have a rule where you have to make up before you go into bed.
Oh, I'm talking about the previous relationship,
Oh,
but
no, no, no. I'm talking about the here and now. Do you guys have a rule? Because a lot of people don't, but I'm
we,
going to tell you now.
we've
We
never
have
talked.
a rule. We have one rule. No matter how angry, no matter how bad things get, before we go to bed, we have to resolve it. I won't say make up. I mean, there's still work to be done. Sometimes it depends on the severity of something, but I won't be sleeping on the couch. He won't be sleeping on the couch. We have to sleep
You
in
would
one
hope
bed
not.
together.
You would hope not. If it comes to that point, then you gotta forego sleep and try to work it out.
In the
But
morning, maybe, yeah.
yeah,
I thought that was interesting that some people have rules and some people don't,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, all right.
All right, good. I just want to close with this, and that is that famous ball player Bill Buckner passed away
I
yesterday
know.
at
And
the
my
age of
husband,
69.
he did.
He won batting titles. He played 22 years.
Yep.
He was a great player, great teammate. But his life was defined by one failure.
Yep.
And,
And we
and
know what that is.
yeah,
He
we do, and
and it was
it's so
horrible.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad because everybody that was around him said he was just a great guy, and a great player. So don't
He
let
was.
failures define you. That's what I wanted to share at the closing, because I hopefully, and he's passed away, but hopefully history will write that he was a great player.
It will.
And
And you know what? My husband said you were going to bring up Buckner
yeah,
because the Boston Red Sox said he was on a couple of shows. They made fun of him.
yeah,
Unfortunately for him, as much of a great ball player, and he was an excellent ball player, that bullying that he got his whole life
yeah,
caused him a lot of stress.
it did.
I
It did.
believe brought on dementia. And I want to bring that up right now. I was going to bring up Bruckner, but I didn't want to go into. My parents suffered mild dementia. I'm going to tell you guys, and this is bringing an homage to Buckner. He was an awesome ball player, but he's not going to be known for that, guys. Okay,
No,
he's not. He's
no.
going to be known that he dropped the ball, and they even had him in a comedy show. I forgot which show. Was it Entourage or one of those where, I think it was Entourage. It was one of the shows where they actually brought him back, and everybody was shunning him, like, oh,
Yeah,
no, yelling at him or whatever. And I'm going to tell you, as much of a front as he put up, and he was a good guy, that's a lot of stress. So, bullying on any level is unacceptable. Okay.
yeah,
And I do hope that when they write it, they will write the good and the bad. I think they shouldn't just say that he's just a good ball player. They should also define that because he did mess up, he wasn't the only one. Somebody else threw the ball. Hello, they messed up
Oh
too.
well,
No,
the
they focus
movie
on him.
Fever Pitch. In the movie Fever Pitch, they go over that, and he keeps playing the play over again and over again,
Yes.
but he says, but people have to realize there was a wild pitch right before that.
It was. Yes.
And
And they
so
don't
you
focus
think,
on that. They focus at the
yeah,
end result and blamed him.
yeah,
So, yes, if they do write something on him, they should say that, even though his failure was emphasized, it still made him famous for it, if that sounds like a little crazy, right? The thing is that he took it to heart, and people were yelling at him in the streets. Like he would be at places where
yeah.
he would give autographs, and people would you know what? Who are you to judge? I'm sorry.
2008 though. In 2008, Red Sox home opener after they won the world title, he hid in the Green Monster during the opening ceremonies, and they brought him out to throw the first pitch.
Yes.
Say,
Yes.
let's get over it. And the crowd gave him a huge standing ovation. He was crying, and the crowd gave him a
Oh,
huge
of course,
standing
because
ovation.
you don't understand. He probably went through a lot of therapy over what
Yeah,
he did. No one's going to advertise that, right? But I mean, think about it. You're in the public eye,
yeah.
and you F up royally, and
Oh,
nobody's letting you live it down. That's shame on those people,
oh
not
yeah,
on
yeah,
him. But
yeah.
like I said, dementia that hit him, you know, people don't think dementia is something that they think it's just hereditary. I've done a lot of reading since my parents passed away on dementia, and we're gonna leave it off like here.
Yeah.
If you're stressing out over something huge or small, make sure you know it's taking a toll, because the brain, when it doesn't get enough oxygen, it starts to shrink. I literally saw my parents' brains shrink.
Yeah.
And luckily, they still were able to recognize the grandchildren, recognize us. But I've been reading a lot of stories since their passing. My mom passed in 2012, dad in 2014. I've been reading a lot of stories of people that really, you don't know who, like even Ronald Reagan, he didn't even know who he was.
Sad, yeah.
All that does is just create more stress. So when you learn about brain health and dementia and whatnot, it can happen to any of us.
Well, you think about the stress a president goes through.
Well, that's the other thing. President Trump, the same thing. But we have to, as individuals, control it while we're young. And it starts in our 50s. And the reason I'm saying that is that we're in our 50s. Our majority of our audience is 40s to 50s. Stress is the silent killer.
That's right.
So make sure that you're just waking up.
Right.
Rise and grind.
Rise
Make
and
it your best
grind.
day ever. And don't stress the small stuff. There's a really good book. Don't stress the small stuff.
Right.
Like a bathroom read. You ever go to the bathroom with a book? It's like this big. Read it and just enjoy your day. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you back.
Happy Tuesday. We'll see you on Wednesday, and have a great day.
You too. See you Wednesday. Bye.